So we're going to start with the Irish Times sports section this morning, and that is Lancaster fired up for another memorable clash of champions. Toulouse, top of the table at the moment in France, unbeaten since the game against Leinster. They're pretty good. It's a sellout. It's a 1 o'clock kick-off on Saturday, and it's live on Off the Ball and Newstalk on Saturday. Yeah, it's one that you get excited for. It's almost as if beating Leinster has just given them the sort of confidence that they were needed to realise that, yeah, we are one of the European superpowers still. It's a huge game from a Leinster perspective. It is. Like, I think in their last couple of games, you're still kind of waiting for this moment where Leinster sort of wake up and have this massive backlash where you're like, okay, Leinster are back. At what point do we start referring to Leinster as being back? Because I think they'll admit themselves that the first half of the season perhaps hasn't gone as well as some people might have expected. Maybe privately they were saying to themselves, there's no way we can back up the unbelievable form at the end of last season immediately, particularly after a fairly tough summer in terms of all the Irish internationals and a tough autumn as well. So I expect there to be a backlash again at some point from this Leinster team. And like we are talking about a backlash, we are talking about a backlash coming off the back of them destroying Ulster at the weekend. So I'm not quite sure if I'm being totally fair to them at this point. But I expect a big win at some point at the end of the Champions Cup pool stage. Yeah, well, I mean, it was Ulster B team. There's Doddie Weir on the Irish Times. He's pictured in all of the newspapers today in his Doddie suit. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So obviously, you met him yesterday. Met him yesterday. We're going to play the interview out in full tomorrow. Obviously, this is ahead of the Ireland versus England Legends rugby match, which takes place every year. And the My Name's Doddie Foundation, a fantastic cause promoting neuron disease research, that's come on board this year. And it's just like absolutely anybody who can get behind this cause. I'm sure many people will realise what a fantastic cause it is. Yeah, what's the sort of suit? The suit, so it's the Doddie suit he called it when I met him yesterday. And I guess the fact that it's tartan suggests you know immediately where he's from, even though even if you've no idea who Doddie Weir is, and it's like it is what it is. He's the sharpest dressed man at the media event yesterday. Did you try it on? I did not try on the suit. It probably would have gone down to my ankles, to be fair. He's a big man still. He is a very big man. I think that would have been a good picture, actually. Well, yeah, that would have been kind of embarrassing, really. I mean, think about your Instagram. You just got to think about the Instagram likes. Putting me beside professional or former professional rugby players is always a comedic event. Me needing to actually wear their garments is not needed to actually make it funny. Okay, so Doddie Weir was in Dublin yesterday ahead of the Ireland-England Legends match on the RDS on the 1st of February. The proceeds from that game will be split among the My Name's Doddie Foundation and a number of other charities. So he did speak to us about his life since he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Here's part of that chat. We'll bring the rest of it on tomorrow's show.
And that's what I've taken on board. I see a chiropractor once a week, and he says if you don't use it, you lose it. So with the muscles in your hands, try and do as much as you can. So tying shoelaces, for example, is a big thing for me. But then I keep doing it. It might take me 5 minutes, but I do it, and boom, that's a success. Drinking a pint, I can't really do it with one hand, so I've got to do it with two hands now. So we've got to adapt, and that's the kind of thing and the spirit you've got to have. But the spirit really is to try and make a difference and I just think it's outrageous in today's environment that there's not even one new drug in 25 years has hit the table to give people with MND a chance. And with a chance you need options, and there is no options. So with that, we want to try and change that.
Yeah, so that full interview, we'll play it for you tomorrow. The Ireland-England Legends match in the RDS on the 1st of February supports a number of great causes, and you can get tickets for it now. So next to the Irish Independent here this morning. Byrne ready to step up if injury rules section out. That's the big news from yesterday. Robbie Henshaw is back and potentially ready for a matchday squad this weekend, but that Johnny Sexton and Devon Toner are 50-50. It's early in the week for them to be saying 50-50, so that kind of suggests it's more likely 30-70. You'd think so. Certainly when it comes to 50-50 in the Ireland camp, it always goes to 30-70 because Joe Schmidt likes to have them involved for the entire week. Is that the same with Leinster? They're talking about a cut-off point needing to train today to be named for the game on Saturday, so we'll see. Stuart Lancaster was definitely bigging up Ross Byrne anyway. He's benefited from sitting underneath Johnny for 3 years, and I can't give him enough credit. He's a leader, his kicking game's proficient, he's ready. That's that one. Good, interesting story from Dan McDonald about Matt Doherty, poised to sign a new deal and also poised to join the Mendes camp. So at the moment, Matt Doherty's dad looks after him. He doesn't have an agent, and they seem to have negotiated a pretty good deal with Wolves last season, where he is apparently on 20 grand a week until 2021. But super agent Jorge Mendes, who basically is the most important person at the club, not the manager, not the owner, he's the guy, he's the man, It's like, you can come and join me.
Agent of the Year, Jorge Mendes.
Yeah. Jorge Mendes got an award when we were at the Web Summit.
Yeah.
He had a broken leg, did he? He shuffled up on crutches.
Some sort of injury, yeah. I'm not sure how he managed to sustain that, but his mantelpiece is full.
The guy from NASA gave him the award. I just remembered.
Yeah.
That was like astronaut Jorge Mendes. Which one of these two is the...
I was saying to the lads outside that we used to get excited about Irish footballers joining Manchester United. Now we get excited about them linking up with Jorge Mendes. It's like the new pride. I'm going to get a Jorge Mendes jersey with Matt Doherty's name on the back of it. It's a huge moment for Irish football.
So Dan has a line here. Doherty's comfort at the top flight might mean a number of middlemen are keen to work with a player who would cost a prospective buyer more than 10 million in today's market. 10 million pounds. I think he'd be a bit more than that, would he?
Yeah, definitely.
Good quality right back.
Yeah, I would say 20 million at the very least. Right? He's got himself to a point where he's an extremely high-profile fullback in the Premier League.
Is he extremely high-profile in Ireland? Like, if you're sitting...
Yes, he is.
If you're sitting...
Go through any player of the month in any season.
If you're sitting in the TalkSport studio, are you banging on about Matt Doherty half as much as we are? You aren't.
No, but if you are having a conversation about...
The best right-back in the Premier League?
Well, maybe not that, but if you are...
Top 5 right-backs in the Premier League?
So the way Seamus Coleman used to be talked about in terms of who do Manchester United need to go and sign?
Yeah, not Matt Doherty.
Well, he's getting to that. Can he get to that level?
But Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines were considered the best.
Yeah, no,
partnership.
Granted. I'm not saying he's at that level yet. I am saying though that if you are having a conversation about any of the top 6, looking at a fullback, I'm sure that he pops up in those conversations, is he? He's been one of the more impressive. He's to a huge amount of the Premier League audience, a new name on the scene this year as well. So I think that all adds up to a guy that you can definitely say the trajectory is firmly on the rise. And I don't see why people aren't talking about him in that way. I would say Wolves would be stupid to sell him for anything less than £20 million.
Yeah, and so do you sign with Mendes and think, well, this is a win-win? That means I'm in the inner circle, and also they're happy to sell players because that's what the point of this thing is, isn't it? I don't really know what the point of the Wolves experiment is, I have to say. Sorry, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it's not to get Matt Doherty and sell him on and make a lot of money for the club and Jorge Mendes.
Maybe they're thinking of creating their own Super League, kind of like the rugby, where it's the Portuguese Premier Division and Wolves.
Yeah.
It's just a breakaway league.
Yeah. Goal standard. Wolves dump Liverpool out of FA Cup. Not a bad goal by Neves.
Neves thanked the football for his goal last night.
Did he? Yeah.
He was himself and Conor Cody were being interviewed by the BBC after the match, and the BBC presenter said to Ruben Neves, "Well, you obviously knew that was going into the top corner," and he was like, "I have a request for Premier League that the ball is Mitre." And Conor Cody corrected him to say Mitre. So maybe that's an interesting way of getting Ruben Neves back into goals. He scored in the first day of the season with an absolute screamer, but I can't recall any absolute worldies from Ruben Neves since then until last night. It was a fantastic strike, and maybe all he needs is Mitre ball, as he says. Bless you.
Oh my God, excuse me. Yeah, so that's there's more Doddie Weir stuff there. On a knife edge, Van Gran urges Munster to embrace European pressure, and Spurs boss wants to spend 20 years in London like Wenger. Apparently he's going to go meet Wenger.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's going to get some long-term relationship advice from Arsene Wenger. How do you do this for so long? How do you manage to put up for so long? He's obviously thinking about seeing other people at the moment, but Arsene Wenger will tell him to stay committed to his one true love.
It's not a million miles away from the situation that Wenger was in, though, right? Continue to make us money, finish in the top 4, never win a trophy, although Wenger won 7 FA Cups, which I only read today. I was like, that's amazing. When
I thought the FA Cup didn't matter.
When we were kids, 7 was the most that any club had won. Villa had won 7, some other team, some crappy team had won 7, and Man United were just winning their 7th. And then he won 7 in his time there. It's like, what? And that might be one of the reasons why it doesn't matter. Arsene Wenger's career, generally the last half of it considered to be a failure, and all he did was win the FA Cup every year. It's like, no. Arsene, I'm not happy with that.
That's so disrespectful.
I got the flu jab yesterday. That's what's going on here.
Is that not supposed to work the other way around, no?
They say you'll get a little bit of a head cold maybe if you're unlucky. So neck and neck. Capital rivals hard to separate in race to reach League Cup final. I mean, these games are good. These League Cup semi-finals are good.
Is it better than the FA Cup?
Way better. Under lights, knockout football, 2 good teams actually going for this stage of the tournament.
Last night.
And Verdana heading for a Bouverdere rematch. So The enemy could well come from within as Bouvardere targets a record equalling third successive victory in the champion hurdle after his stablemate Christmas hurdle conqueror Verdana Blue was yesterday described as an intended runner in the Cheltenham Festival one-day highlight. Day one highlight, not one day.
Back page of the Herald this morning is leading with Liverpool. Klopp's Red Cubs bitten by Wolves. So Liverpool's second string knocked out as United draw Arsenal, and Poch aims to emulate Wenger's long reign as well is the other story there in the back page of the Herald this morning. The Star then is pure gold. Klopp's cup flop stunned as Ruben fires Wolves to glory. And Murphy's ruled out, so Michael Murphy's going to go under the knife. He's going to miss the first half of the Division 2 campaign for Donegal this year in the Allianz League. He is getting knee surgery. And Sexton talk is dismissed, says Derek Foley. Leinster moved swiftly yesterday to calm fears out half Johnny Sexton was a doubt for the Six Nations. Back page of the Mirror is You're Our Man, Ole. This is an exclusive by David MacDonald that Manchester United's players want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the hot seat on a permanent basis. Marcus Rashford posting on Instagram yesterday with a pretty good caption talking about it was like Solskjaer sitting down and then Rashford, Martial and I think somebody else sitting around him. Seconds left, whipped in a perfect corner, Teddy flicked it on, the rest is history, which I presume wasn't the actual conversation, although I'm sure that's the conversation he wanted to hear. He's just kind of, is he too buddy with
Are you sure
players?
it wasn't the real conversation?
Well, I'm not, obviously, I'm not sure. Maybe it was.
I mean, like, if you're a Man United fan, they are Man United fans, right? Rashford is. Yeah. And Lingard. Like, at some point you're going to go, here, come on. Just, what happened? Tell us.
I don't think.
Not a great description by Ollie. Like, oh, you know, give us a bit more detail there.
Yeah, he's a much better orator than that. So I think if it was actually the real situation, he would have been a bit more detailed. Also, Solskjaer isn't the type of person, I think, to blow his own trumpet in that manner. Maybe it would. Maybe it was the real conversation. I'm sure somebody will ask him at a press conference eventually. The back page of the Sun is the King's speech. Fergie tells Stars, you can make us great. So it's not just Solskjaer who's doing great stuff at Manchester United. Alex Ferguson gave a rousing speech to their stars telling them, you can make this club great again. And Dunces with Wolves is the great headline on last night's Wolves 2 Liverpool 1 match report. Klopp's Cop Kids KO'd. The Telegraph this morning is Neves seals victory with wonder goal. Klopp's men crash out of FA Cup and Lovren injury blow adds to club's defensive crisis. And finally, the back page of The Guardian is Gold Rush. Neves Thunderbolt delivers knockout blow to Liverpool, and Manchester United give an Arsenal test. They're off to the Emirates in round 4.